My name is Danielle Clarke. I'm Professor of English Renaissance Language and Literature here in the School of English Drama and Film in UCD. I'm currently head of school, and I wanted to share with colleagues some ideas that I've been using for many years now in terms of engaging and teaching students, particularly in humanities and literature-based subjects. So I suppose my three top tips, as it were, or my three top motivations for the teaching of my particular subject area would be that teaching should be objective-led, student-focused and discussion-driven. Student-focused is not necessarily quite the same thing as student-led, and it relates back to the question of having a clear objective in mind for every task and building that up cumulatively for each seminar or each topic. So that the point really being that students are being led towards a particular set of conclusions, but that they're finding their own way of getting there. And I found that that embeds that idea or that set of practices much better in their memories and enables them or empowers them as learners subsequently. So I'm going to use an example from a first year class. So this is for students new to UCD in the earlier stages of their degree program. It's a single honours class called How to Read Poetry. And what I'm doing in that class over the course of the 12 weeks is really enabling students or helping students develop a toolkit of skills which enables them to be able to read and interpret poems from all periods, all forms, and so on. So it should be a way of empowering them to read poetry confidently and well. So the task would be that I would, again, this comes back to the question of student discussion. I would divide my group of 18 or so students into two groups. Each of them would be given a poem to read. I'd probably subdivide them down into groups of 3 to do that. The other group, meantime, is given a grid. We might call this poetry bingo. So they're given a grid with various categories marked out on it: form, structure, style, imagery, metaphor. These don't have to be fixed. I would decide what they were in advance. So Group A presents on their findings from their reading of poetry. Group B marks off which categories they've actually covered. Both groups engage in both sides of the activity. So one group presents on their poem, and the other group, the group marking it off on the grid, have to be interpretively engaged. They have to be actively involved in what their fellow students are saying. So the purpose of this exercise really is that it fulfills the various categories that I've just outlined. So first of all, that it's student focused. So students are actively engaged in the production of their own learning. It can be kind of open and fairly flexible, but essentially then what we do is that we take what they produce. It's objective led in the sense that I am leading them towards a particular set of categories or concepts that they will need to engage in subsequent classes. And then finally, possibly the most important thing of all for a first year class is that this is discussion based. It's not a case of the lecturer telling the students what it is they need to do, but the students discussing amongst themselves and coming up with their own concepts and their own ideas that are then, as it were, kind of organised and directed towards the objectives of the class.